Hi, and welcome to another episode of V for Veganism. I am here with Ali Berger. She's the owner-operator of CocoAlly, which is a artistic shop where you sell your art and your shirts, as you can see. And here we have Sesame, the rescued opossum, and also a Instagram star.
Yeah,
Yes.
his Instagram has really taken off.
Yeah, I mean, that is why you're here from New Orleans in New York to do a meet and greet with Sesame tomorrow.
Yeah, we're doing a meet and greet. It's at Mushu's. Yeah, and we have a lot of people. He has a lot of fans in the city and outside of New York and the New York area. So yeah, we wanted to come up and meet some of his fans. And
Yeah. So I met you in New Orleans. Are you originally from there?
No, I'm originally from Bethesda, Maryland, right outside of DC, and then my father is from New Orleans. So when I went to open up a shop, so yeah, we have CocoAlly, and that is all of my designs, like this one here. Friends don't let friends eat friends. So it's very much like animal inspired, vegan. We're vegan owned and operated. And then we also have a gallery on Royal Street in the French Quarter of New Orleans. So we have 3 shops around New Orleans, Gallery Berger, and then 2 CocoAlly shops. And yeah, so I didn't grow up in New Orleans, but when I went to open the businesses, I opened up down there, and then I've been living there since.
New Orleans is like such a big fish kind of place. Like it's so much, it's so ingrained in their culture, the like crawfish and whatever other fishes that they eat. I know that's like on every corner. How do people respond to your shop, to the word vegan down there?
Yeah, you know what? People love it. And I think they're really excited to find that New Orleans has a strong vegan scene, because New Orleans has always had a big tourism industry. I mean, there's always been a ton of visitors. And so of course we get visitors from all over the country and all over the world. And a lot of them are going to be vegan and have different options that they know of in their own cities and countries. And when they come to New Orleans, they're kind of looking for something that they can still, they can still eat ethically, but still embrace the city itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's actually a lot of really good options. We are right next to, in CocoAlly, we're right next to Seed, which is a 100% vegan restaurant. It's amazing. They do a lot of traditional New Orleans dishes. So they have po' boys, gumbos. They have beignets for dessert. So it's exciting because things have been changing the past few years. But New Orleans does have a really strong vegan scene. You just have to know where to look.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling people that I was going down to visit, and they were like, "Oh, what are you gonna eat?" Yeah. And I was like, "Actually, there's quite a bit to eat down there now." I was like, if I were going down there maybe 5 years ago, I would have been concerned. Right. But in 2018, I'm like not concerned that I could go anywhere and find something.
Exactly, and you can still embrace all of the. I mean, a lot of the spices are plant-based. And so you can still embrace the history and the culture and the cuisine down there now, and just with the plant-based options, which is really nice.
Yeah. So how long have you been drawing, painting, been an artist your whole life?
Yeah, pretty much, but not professionally my whole life. I've been drawing and painting since I was little and always loved it. It was super relaxing to me. So I did a lot of schooling, and then I went and did my PhD over in Belfast in Northern Ireland. Oh wow! And so I know that's my sweatshirt today in St. Paddy's Day.
Oh,
so it's Queen's University Belfast. It's St. Patrick's Day today. But yeah, we went. So I did my PhD in linguistics over at Queen's University in Belfast. And to relax while I was working on it, my dissertation and everything with the PhD, I'd always be painting and drawing, and mostly now it was like acrylic paintings on canvas. And I've always loved animals, so that was like a natural, I gravitated towards animals as subject matter. So when I was finished with my PhD, I knew that I loved linguistics. I wanted to keep up to date with it, but I knew I would never get tired of art. So that's when I started looking around for space to have the gallery, and I'd already been kind of like, had some of my work up online and selling in different, had a couple of different gallery shows in different places. So yeah, I found this spot on Royal Street and opened up the gallery, and I guess that was about 7 years ago now.
So when you were when you were over there in Ireland, were you vegan?
Yeah, I wasn't fully, I hadn't fully committed to the ingredients everywhere. Like hadn't eaten dairy for a long time, but if there was like milk ingredients in bread or something, like I didn't quite pay attention to that, and it wasn't until social media when I started being exposed to and finding so much more information about the dairy industry and even like honey and just all how all the industries are connected, and how if I really wanted to respect and care about animals, that I had to just embrace it fully. And so it was pretty much after, I think it was actually about 3 years into my time at Belfast that I did go completely vegan. Well, when I was a kid, I went vegetarian because I cared about animals, and it just seemed logical to me. I thought, oh, if you care about animals, you don't eat them. But that's why I appreciate social media so much now, because I realize I don't know how long it would have taken me to make that connection without social media. If I hadn't had the pictures and all the information in front of me to connect all the industries together. But so yeah, I went vegan, I guess, about 3 years into Belfast. But before then, even I stopped drinking milk because I noticed I used to have sinus problems all the time. So for me, it's never really been health-based. That's not my driving force or passion. But when I stopped dairy originally, before I knew how horrible the dairy industry was, that's how it started. Was I felt so much better when I wasn't eating dairy.
Yeah. So.
Oh, wait! He went under. He put himself to sleep under the pillow.
So Sesame here is a rescue.
Yeah, Sesame's a rescue.
And did you rescue him in New Orleans?
Yes. So I took him in. He was with someone who, he had been basically domesticated and was reliant on people, when he was small. And you're not supposed to do that as a rehabber. You're supposed to rehab and release them. So, which obviously is 100% the best for them.
Yeah.
But he was already dependent, and he also had some issues where he was like his skin, some other things that required like longer term vet care. So I took him in, and then got my rehabber's license. And started, caring for him. And now he's at the point now where he's unreleasable. So now he kind of does like wildlife ambassadorship and goes around and meets people and educates on possums.
So where did he come from in the first place? Like
so I have a book called Possums Don't Live in Houses. That's by Sesame. He wrote it. but anyway, there's some artistic license in it, because in the story my dog finds him and brings him into the house, and and he becomes accustomed to living with Coco, who's my dog, and CocoAlly.
Okay,
yeah, my name's Allie. Yeah. So anyway, so in the book it's sort of like a fairy tale about how it happened, but in reality, he was attacked by a dog when he was younger with two other possums. Two other babies who were probably his siblings. So the two other babies were fine, ended up being rehabbed and released the way that it should happen. And then Sesame, as I said, stayed on a little bit longer. There he goes. He's looking for. Yeah, he is. But yeah, and he's such a sweetheart, and I love him so much. And I do get a lot of people on Facebook. He has, I think he just reached 100,000 Facebook followers, or he's at 99.4 or something. Yeah. And sorry. I get a lot of Facebook messages, and obviously on Instagram too. I get a lot of messages from people who say, where can I get a possum for a pet? And I'm like, no, that's not the best way for them. It's not, because they also have very specific dietary requirements. They need a lot of calcium in their diets, or they can get metabolic bone disease, which is super painful for them, and it takes a long time for them to recover if they can. So I always tell people, you can live vicariously through Sesame, enjoy him and his adventures, but just take care of the environment and the areas that they live in, and then you'll be able to enjoy their presence without having to own them or take them in or anything.
Yeah, I think that's great that you can spread that message as well. But it does come with that other side of it though, that people see it. They see that you have him, that he's so cute, and they want it. But I think it's less of an issue with you, and it's more of an issue with humanity and the fact that we want.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
I see Sesame, I think he is adorable, but I'm so fine with
somebody else taking photos.
Yeah, it's the same thing as I don't have any children.
Right, I was gonna say that's how I feel with babies. I'm this baby's super fun, but you can
I have my nieces and I love them, and we play when I see them, and then I give them back to their parents, and I'm so fine, he's adorable and I love seeing him right now. Right. But I have no, because I respect wildlife and I respect the animals, I have no desire to like bring one into my home, you know? And I think that is a sort of a systemic problem and a human ego problem that we like think that, you know, we can just have these things, like they're there for us.
Right. And a lot of people don't have necessarily the commitment, like, or the desire to commit to an animal in that way. Because I know, for me, Sesame, with being with Sesame, it's a lot of mental stress trying to figure out if he has the best life possible. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous.
No, I feel that way about my cat.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I'm like,
sometimes I feel like I'm
imprisoning
imprisoning.
And I'm like, have you had enough fun today? Like, what, you know, have you had possum things that would be fun for a possum? Like, do I feed you the things that would make you happy? So yeah, it's a lot of stress and responsibility, and I think some people get into it because they're like, oh, they're so cute, and then they realize you have to, you know, make sure that they're fed the right things. You have to, you know, and you shouldn't take away the joy of being wild if you don't have to, or if, you know, if it's not situationally necessary. So so I always say, you know, he's super fun, and possums are wonderful animals. Like, they're so good for the ecosystem. They're amazing. They're America's only marsupial, so they have like, their physiology is just amazing. Like, there's so much to learn about with them, but you can do it through studying and observing them in the wild. You know, you don't have to do it by having one like sleep in the bed with you, because that's like a whole different ballgame.
So you mentioned that, you know, New Orleans is a huge tourism city, and so you're getting a lot of like vegan tourists that love having a place to go. And when I was there, I was having my lovely little like vegan day, and I went to Seed, and then I, you know, looked next door, and I was like, oh yes, I'm gonna go in here, of course. Like, I'm having a vegan day by myself. But do you get, local New Orleans people that come in / you know, meat eaters that are like, what is this all about? Yeah,
a little bit. Not as much, thankfully, not as much as people might think. Because I've had actually more vegans worrying about, you know, do you get hate being like so just like unapologetically vegan and like joyously vegan? Do people come up and be like, and thankfully, like, not as much, but I do realize especially when the gallery downtown, which I'm not sure if you had made it to, but the one in the French Quarter, we have the Friends Don't Let Friends Eat Friends print on the door, like on the glass window of the door. So people see it when they walk by, and they'll always be like, friends don't let friends eat friends. And then they let out this like huge laugh, and I'm just like, it's not a joke. Like, I just want to be like, no, like, this is serious, people. And I, you know, and in my head, I'm like, they probably had bacon this morning. Like, they don't, you know, it's not, the vegans like chuckle and laugh, but they're not like, oh my God, I can't, you know, what a ridiculous thought. And I'm like, wait, I know it's cutesy and everything, but it's also like, you know, there's a real philosophy behind it. So anyway, so we get a little bit of everything, but I think it's the same as anywhere you go. And then more so, I've been surprised by the people that, I mean, how you really never know. Because people will come in and I will have no idea. Like, they'll come in the gallery, which is very much more just art-based. And I don't hide, you know, being a vegan owned and operated business at all. Like, I put it up everywhere, but it's not the same vegan sayings, and it's not right next to the vegan restaurant like our other shop is. So the gallery is right on Royal Street. It's like in the center of the French Quarter. And people will come in and then they'll say something like, one guy, he was this older guy, and he was like, are you vegan? And I was thinking, oh, you know, here we go. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, me too. And I was like, oh, like, cool. Like, it's just, I'm always more pleasantly surprised than I am unpleasantly surprised, which is nice. Like, it's so good to feel that way. And especially in a city like New Orleans, where the history is so based on seafood and, you know, and animal foods and everything, that I've been pleasantly surprised. I have so many ideas for that city that I feel like we could get a big vegan group together and do it, because we also need to get rid of the horse-drawn carriages in the French Quarter, majorly.
Yeah, I had some words.
Oh, you did? Oh, good.
I had some words. She wasn't happy.
I know. I feel bad, because I understand that it's people's industry and their livelihood, and as a business owner in the city, I'm like super sensitive to that. But then at the same time, I'm like, I'm sure there are way more fun things that you could be doing that also don't involve dragging a mule around the quarter for all day long.
We deal with it here in New York too, and you know, there's so many cities that have banned it already.
Right.
That like,
yeah, there's so much precedent for transitioning it into like a viable, still having like a tourist, like a way for the tourists to enjoy getting carted around the city.
I mean, they
but
have
not
pedicabs. You guys have
pedicabs
pedicabs
we
too.
have pedicabs now. We have like 3 different pedicab companies that are doing amazingly in the quarter.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's different. And then I heard here they were thinking about doing like vintage cars or something, like vintage electric cars.
Yeah, we have
to
the
take
prototype for it. Yeah, it's just
know.
it's big. It's big and it's expensive.
Yeah.
But thank you so much.
you.
It was so good to see you again.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Just like a week later, and we wish you so much luck, and thank you so much for bringing Sesame. He's so cute.
Of course.
And good luck tomorrow with your meet and greet. Make sure to follow Sesame, follow Allie, and make sure to subscribe below. Check out all our other content, and we'll see you next time.